Hi, I'm Richie Unterberger, and this fall I will be presenting a course on early new wave rock from the mid 1970s until the early 1980s for the first time at Berkeley Ollie. I'm going to share some images with you to give you an idea of what we will be experiencing in our course, and the course will be presented both in person and on Zoom at the same time. There will also be recordings Mondays in the afternoon from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. starting September 14th for 6 weeks. You see some of the artists that we'll be covering in the course on the screen. And the evolution of this revolution in rock music will start with the New York scene of the mid 1970s, especially at the club CBGB, with artists like the ones that we see on screen, Patti Smith, the Ramones, Talking Heads, and Blondie. But we'll also be covering the birth of British punk at almost the same time, with groups like the Sex Pistols and the Clash, followed by many others. And then we'll look at how pop sort of becomes a part of punk, and the label attached to this music is new wave in the late 1970s with acts like The Police and Blondie. I'll share a few very brief video clips with you to give you a sense of what we will be seeing and hearing in the course. I use a lot of vintage performance clips. Here's Patti Smith. Patti Smith, who started as a poet but went into music very successfully. The most commercially successful act to emerge from the CBGB scene was Blondie. And like many of the early punk and new wave pioneers, their style would broaden into reggae and even disco. Across the Atlantic, we'll see artists like, from Britain, Elvis Costello. Accidents will happen, we're all a hit and run. You used to be a victim, now you're not the only one. Accidents will happen, we're all a hit and run. I don't wanna hear it 'cause I know what I've done. And also somewhat rougher acts who nonetheless broaden their appeal to some pop success like The Clash. And then in the final part of the class, looking how new wave became more popular and part of the mainstream with groups like the Go-Go's. Also in the course, we will be looking at how regional scenes, including in San Francisco, the Bay Area, were developing all over North America, the United Kingdom, even in other territories, and how the most durable artists from the initial new wave explosion got even bigger in the 1980s, such as the Go-Go's, who I just showed you. And an important part of punk and new wave was how the movement led to the explosion of the number of women performing rock, sometimes all women rock bands, like the artists, some famous, some not so famous, who we see in this slide. My course, again, on new wave alternative rock from the mid 1970s to the early 1980s will be presented Monday afternoon starting September 14th for 6 weeks, both in person and on Zoom. And I hope to see some of you there this fall.